All right, guys, we are back again. Your fourth stimulus check, your fourth stimulus package update, daily news update dropping right now. The miserable August jobs report, President Biden saying that we need more stimulus for this, the latest on the $3.5 trillion stimulus package, and of course, the White House's plan to boost housing supply and actually get you that $15,000 home buyer credit. Get excited, you guys. Thanks for tuning in. Most accurate stimulus check updates, stimulus package updates, the U.S. economy, and of course, personal finance updates. Basically, if you want to know everything about making money, then we got you. The stimulus is always on point here, so I just want to thank you guys for lighting up the like button. Promise you guys it's worth it. Let's jump in. The August jobs report is in, guys, and we're seeing it as a potential way to get more stimulus money out.
Delta drag. You could see huge job growth in the summer, and then in August, job growth slowed dramatically. Look at what the numbers look like. When you look in the numbers, you can see that 235,000 jobs were added back. That is a big miss. The consensus, John, was for more than 700,000. Even the whisper numbers of a disappointment were 400 or 500,000. So this is a disappointment, and it shows, and childcare concerns are still holding back hiring here. Let's look at how many jobs have been added back since the beginning of the year. You can see this is the weakest since January, and a big slowdown from the summer. We had June and July, big hiring there in June and July, and then the brakes went on there overall here. How does this make us look? You can see that we are at another 235, and that doesn't add very much. You are still down more than 5 million jobs since began. The jobless rate here, 5.2%. So that is the lowest. So that means there are people still being added into the labor market, right? You are still seeing some hiring. 5.2% is a number we want to see, but we haven't seen the job growth from the company side that we'd want to. Look, this is a really important moment here in the labor market. We have kids going back to school. In these numbers, we saw hiring in education. So we know kids are going back to school. Maybe that will help some of the childcare problems that have held back hiring overall. But the Delta variant is the number one concern here right now. How can you grow hiring when you have people who are afraid to go to work? You have companies who are afraid to keep adding onto their payroll because they're not exactly sure what the fall is going to bring, guys.
Really bearing the brunt here are sectors hit hardest and crucial to the comeback from its economic blow. The leisure and hospitality sector did not add any net new jobs in August, as a 42,000 job decline in restaurants and bars wiped out a $36,000 job gain in arts and entertainment. Employment in retail, another hard hit sector, also fell by 29,000 jobs. Now, this is thanks to the steep losses at grocery stores and building material, as well as garden supply stores. One economist said, "Today's report has the Delta variant written all over it. It is clear that the recent surge is a strong headwind to the labor market." And Biden agrees.
Even with the progress we've made, we're not where we need to be in our economic recovery. There are two critical tasks ahead this month to get us closer to our goal and to take the next steps in our recovery. And the first, we need to make more progress in fighting the Delta variant. This is a continuing of since becoming president, I've ramped up testing, secured enough for every single American, and gotten 175 million Americans. Still too many have not gotten, and it's creating a lot of unease in our economy and around our kitchen tables. Today's report shows that the steps we've taken, passing the rescue plan and 175 million people, make our economy capable of growing and adding jobs, even in the face of this continuing Delta surge. A strength in our economy very different from the way things were last winter. There's no question the Delta variant is why today's job report isn't stronger. I know people were looking, and I was hoping for a higher number. But next week, I'll lay out the next steps that we're going to need to combat the Delta variant, to address some of those fears and concerns.
Another economist further stresses the point that Delta is reducing consumer demand and threatening the reopening. Ultimately, it's just a harsh reminder it has control over our destiny. Now, of course, we all want the economy to be back where it was before but the fact of the matter is that we're still facing another deadly wave because of this Delta variant. Now, I wish our lawmakers would already see this and realize it, because now is not the time to be skimping out on stimulus. But what do you guys think? Should they give us another stimulus check because of this weak jobs report and this Delta variant just running rampant? Drop me a comment down below. President Biden also himself said a weak jobs report makes clear need for more stimulus. As he said with the weak jobs report back in April, we can't let up. The jobs report makes that clear. We've got too much work to do. We have to build back better. 4 months later, we're still waiting for this Build Back Better plan with the 2 stimulus packages in Congress, the $1 trillion plus bipartisan deal, as well as the bigger $3.5 trillion reconciliation package. Congress set a deadline for this to happen. 1 month, basically a few weeks from now. So that means that we're definitely going to see a lot happen in the coming updates. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi has ordered committee leaders to battle it out with the Senate counterparts to resolve all the major disputes this week on what will be included in the up to $3.5 trillion stimulus bill. Specific dates that they've mentioned so far are September 15th for committees to report to their leaders for their part in the sweeping stimulus package, and September 27th to pass the $1.2 trillion bipartisan infrastructure package. And here's the thing, House progressives have said that they won't vote on the bipartisan package until they first cleared the $3.5 trillion reconciliation bill. And these House progressives definitely outnumber the about 10 moderates that are insisting on the infrastructure deal. Pelosi is doing her best to get both done. She says, "I know we will succeed because of the confidence that I have in shared values in all of our caucus for America's working families. The success of each bill contributes to the success of the other." She and Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer are doing this high velocity multitasking as the only way to lock in the 2 sweeping stimulus packages that'll get us all the stimulus. So basically, there were forged deals between progressives and centrist Democrats to get the Medicare and Medicaid expansions, introductions, green energy subsidies, child care subsidies, the child tax credit, and paid family leave. Progressives, on the other hand, are doing their part too, and they're gearing up to promote President Biden's proposals on tax hikes to wealthy individuals and on corporations. Now, this is in response to the heavily funded lobbying blitz from big, scary business groups against the proposals. Progressive advocacy organizations and labor groups are saying proposals to raise taxes on wealthy people and corporations are in line with the public sentiment. One quote said, "Taxing the rich is incredibly popular, and so I think we need to remind some Democrats about that. Ultimately, I do believe that Democrats in general support Biden's plans." The Center for American Progress released a report making the case for President Biden's proposal to tax capital gains at death. The report said those affected by President Biden's proposal will not be family farmers or family business owners, but rather the heirs of stockholders, bondholders, and landlords. The working class will be protected, even as the passive rich will not. Another group wrote to committee chairman Richard Neal about the raising taxes on multinationals. They said, "We must not waste the historic opportunity to crack down on offshore corporate tax avoidance and align our tax rules with the interests of working people rather than the ultra-wealthy and multinational corporations." Heck, even the rich people are supporting this one. A group of more than 200 millionaires and corporate leaders sent a letter to congressional leaders on Wednesday highlighting their support for several of President Biden's proposals, including capital gains and a 28% corporate tax rate. Now, according to their letter, it would defy common sense not to have those of us who make the most have the most and would suffer the least to do marginally more to secure the nation's future. President Biden's tax plan does just that. Another group of wealthy Americans called the patriotic millionaires are telling lawmakers that we would prefer not to live in a country with a few rich people and lots of poor people. Polling also shows just how popular these tax hikes are for the voters. Hint, hint, midterm. Now, according to one polling expert, raising taxes on the wealthy and big corporations is not just popular across the country, but also in battleground districts. Bottom line, if these lawmakers actually want our votes, then they should listen to what the people are saying. Let's not forget how the Democrats won the Senate majority in January thanks to the Georgia runoff. They won that one thanks to their promise of another stimulus check and Republicans bungling it up, giving stimulus the cold Mitch McConnell shoulder. But could they do this again for the midterm? My stimulus sense is tingling, so I definitely say yes. Subscribe to the channel and ring that notification bell. That way you don't miss out on one single important stimulus update. A lot of hot stimulus coming soon, guys. I can definitely feel it. Coming up in just a bit, the White House plan to increase affordable housing, plus the Congress proposal for a whole lot of housing stimulus, including a $15,000 homebuyer credit and $2,000 rental credit. Just stay tuned, guys. All this stimulus talk always makes me hungry, and I think it's the same for you guys. And that's why we partner with the very exciting HelloFresh meal kits. You've definitely got to try these easy to follow recipes with very clear nutritional information, pre-portioned ingredients straight from the farm, convenient meal kits that fit perfectly in your fridge, and overall a fun cooking experience that will definitely take away your worries about what to cook for the family next. They already do all the mixing and matching, so you don't have to waste time and money trying to figure that out. Pretty cool, huh? Even better, you can use our channel exclusive code for a special bargain deal. Use code RonYates14 to get up to 14 free meals across your first 5 HelloFresh boxes, plus free shipping. They definitely had me at the 14 free meals and the free shipping. And a small part of the proceeds go to our channel, so I just want to thank you guys so much for the love and for the support. Again, guys, the code is RonYates14 at HelloFresh.com. Check out their page now. Now, another item on our stimulus watch list is Senator Joe Manchin threatening to torpedo the $3.5 trillion budget bill. He said, "I, for one, won't support a $3.5 trillion bill or anywhere near that level of additional spending without greater clarity about why Congress chooses to ignore the serious effects inflation and debt have on the existing government programs." Well, progressives are not all that happy about what he had to say about that, and they made it very clear. So you got Representative Pramila Jayapal. She said, "Pause on finally delivering childcare, paid leave, education, healthcare, affordable housing, climate action, and dental, vision, and hearing to millions of American families across America." Basically, she's not having it. She put hashtag poverty is a policy choice. But let's make that go viral, guys. Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, AOC, she also set out her own set of anti-Manchin tweets. Manchin has weekly huddles with Exxon and is one of the many senators who gives lobbyists their pen to write so-called bipartisan fossil fuel bills. It's people, our people, at least 12 last night, sick of this bipartisan corruption that masquerades as clear-eyed moderation. AOC points out the same thing that we did about Manchin's connections to big businesses like Fox News, parent company PAC, donating money to Manchin's re-election campaign. Now, for everybody's context, the Fox Corporation Political Action Committee is funded in part by conservation media mogul Rupert Murdoch. Interestingly enough, though, Murdoch also owns the Wall Street Journal, where Manchin aimed his grievances against the $3.5 trillion stimulus bill. Now, in the second quarter, Manchin also received contributions from many other big corporations, including Pfizer, T-Mobile, Nucor, Honeywell, and Herbalife. It's always a good idea to follow the money, guys. Now, another thing that progressives pointed out is the reality of warm ocean temperatures and increasing sea level rise. Representative Jamal Bowman stressed the point by sharing photos of homes in the district that were hit this week. Straight from Jamal Bowman's Twitter account, he says, "Hey Joe, these are the homes in my district after last night's storm. How much destruction do we need before it's worth investing in our climate?" We talked more about this in our previous video update, which is available through our channel playlist section. You can always check that out right after this one. Just look for that 4th stimulus check update playlist. Should be right there at the top. Housing stimulus. This is a big one, guys. The Biden administration announced their plans to expand the supply of affordable homes in the country. The White House said on Wednesday that the Department of Housing and Urban Development, also known as HUD, the Treasury Department, and the Federal Housing Finance Agency would expand and reimpose several incentives and grants for the construction of roughly 100,000 additional homes over the next 3 years. Now, let's look at some of the highlights here. Treasury and HUD will relaunch a risk-sharing program with state housing finance agencies to help remove some of the financial stakes of funding cheaper homes. FHFA is also increasing its quota for the amount of homes supported by federal affordable housing tax credits, multifamily homes, and manufactured homes that Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac are required to finance. This news is in parallel to the Congress proposal from Senate Finance Chair Ron Wyden, the new Dash Bill, or the Decent Affordable Safe Housing for All Act. Now, according to Wyden, housing is a human right, yet millions of Americans pay more than half of their monthly take-home pay just to keep a roof over their head. And more than 500,000 Americans don't have housing at all. America is amidst a serious crisis of housing affordability, and it's a big challenge that demands big, bold solutions. As housing prices skyrocket, a generation of young people are increasingly locked out of home ownership. It's time America's lawmakers get with the program and enact 21st century policies that adequately address 21st century housing challenge problems. They're promising a whole lot of stimulus here, so let's break them down one by one. Down payment tax credit for first-time homebuyers, $15,000 first-time homebuyer credit, fully refundable and equal to 20% of the purchase price of a home. Fully refundable, guys. So meaning, any money left over goes straight into our pocket. Renter's tax credit. This credit is equal to 110% of the difference between market rent and utilities and 30% of the tenant's income. So let's just say you have a 1-bedroom apartment at $700 plus, let's just say about $200 for utilities and $2,500 monthly income. That's a total of $165 per month that renter's tax credit you for. Multiply that by 12 months, that's $1,980 a year. That's almost $2,000. And this is exactly what you would actually get through this tax credit. This is another $2,000 stimulus right here. So that'll total a $165 per month renter's tax credit for you. Not too shabby, huh? Now, of course, this could definitely go up depending on your situation. There's also some other stuff here about tax credits for home builders, but that's just really to give you more options for affordable housing down the line. Now, if you're a home builder yourself, you can actually check out the details through a quick Google search. But bottom line here, this new DASH Act, it wants to make a generational investment to end childhood homelessness and tackle the housing affordability crisis that's taken hold in Oregon and across America. It especially promises housing for everyone experiencing homelessness within 5 years and prioritizing children and families for placement by issuing them a housing choice voucher. As many as 15 million households in America spend more than 50% of their take-home pay on rent each month. How many of you guys are spending more than half of your income on rent? And the way things are going, this could definitely get so much worse before it gets better. And this is exactly why you'll need our special Gold Investments newsletter to help you guys out. It's one way to hedge your money against the financial crisis that all of the experts are warning us about. Read more about it in your very own free copy in the pinned comment down below. More stimulus money talk in our coming updates. I really hope that you guys appreciated today's 4th stimulus check update and daily news update. The miserable August jobs report. President Biden saying that we need more stimulus for this. The latest on the $3.5 trillion stimulus package, and the White House's plan to boost housing supply and actually get you that $15,000 home buyer credit. Take care and be home buyer credit. Take care and be home buyer credit.